Welcome back, everybody, to the morning after. It is the getting to the end of February. This is the last week of February. Where's time
It
going?
is the last week of February. It feels like spring here in Detroit. You know how we get one of those days in the Midwest or the East Coast where you're like, it's 50 degrees and people are putting their tops down and putting their bikinis on, and then it's going to
They
snow
do.
in 3 days.
I know it's a tease. It's
It's a tease.
always a tease with Michigan. I feel like you think it's over, and then mid-April you get a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Shit's wild.
Yeah,
No, I will.
shit's wild. Or
I
in New York, they'll get like real snow in Boston. And so we're all enjoying this little break right now.
Well, good for you guys. It's been fantastic weather here. I'm not gonna lie. Like cream of the crop. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It is pretty nice. We actually spent the weekend at Calamigos Ranch, which is this cool ranch in the middle of Malibu Mountains. My kids were just running around outside, cows, horses, the whole 9 yards. And honestly, it was perfection just because the weather was so nice. It was so
Wow.
perfect. I know.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, so these are the reasons we love LA, The weather's
That's a little
nice.
that's a little Green Acres living for you folks from Beverly Hills. You remember that? You don't remember
No.
that.
No,
Forget
what
it.
are you talking about? Are
Just
you
it
talking
was
about
a
like,
these really rich people went and bought a farm. It was a TV
oh,
show, and they went and bought a farm.
well, to be honest, Matthew and I have talked about that multiple times now. Just like when our kids are older, just moving in the middle of nowhere, buying a farm or something and just attending to the land,
Well,
Why are you laughing?
if you get yourself some chickens, you could really like boost the income and sell some eggs down there by the morning.
T- Totally. Well, you know what? This is a good segue. I know we can't go there yet because we have to do our it's a lots, but that's a good segue into what I want to talk about with my kids and like chores and shit like that. So, real quick, my it's a lot. I went to yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't even remember when it was. Do you have mystery readers at your school where you can
Yeah.
sign up? Oh, okay. All right, great. So I've done this a few times. I finally got to do the twins class. And Matthew had actually already done it once, which I always send him if he's around because let's be honest, everybody's hoping it's him when it's coming to when it's the Stafford household. But he was playing golf at in Augusta for the second time in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And yeah, he's living his dream right now, so that's good. But I went to read in their class. I Guys, I have never felt so bad for a teacher in my life. These kids were absolutely horrible. And I don't know, you know me, I'm not the nicest person when kids don't behave or have manners. And
Mhm.
so there were a few kids in the front that kept trying to interrupt. And I think I mean stared one of them. Like, was
Ooh.
just like, I was reading and then I stopped and just, okay, I understand that's not my child.
How many kids in the classroom? What's the ratio of teacher to kids?
One teacher, I think there's 16 kids. No,
Uh,
there's more than that. It's 21. 11 and
Okay.
twins. Yeah.
And no like teacher's aide or anything. Just she's there.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
She was alone. But I have okay, so I know boys and girls are different. And I have all girls, so I don't know how to kind of interact with kids that are boys besides telling them to behave. But there were about 3 or 4 boys in that class who were rude, would not shut up, and even when the teacher like tried to get them to calm down, they would make like farting noises. I mean, I don't know. I almost wanted to drag them out of the class. Do you know
Wow.
what I mean?
It was
Like I
just
don't.
the boys
It
too,
was,
right?
I mean, like yes.
Yeah.
Sorry to say it, but it was just the boys. And I asked Chandler and Sawyer about it. And I was just like, is this how, they always behave? And they were like, yeah. And then they proceeded to tell me that one of the boys follows them and puts his hands on them, like in a physical manner. So now I'm going to have to handle that. But this is a big kid too.
Yeah.
And I again, I just wasn't expecting. I don't know what I don't know why I didn't expect it. I mean, they're second grade kids, they're gonna misbehave, they're not robots. It was just when she asked them to calm down multiple times, they didn't. I
Can
don't
you
know.
imagine being in that classroom for
No.
9 hours a day?
Like, my heart broke for this woman, and you could tell, like, she's a stern woman, she's known as a very good teacher at this school, and she is a great teacher. She just got fed a bad class lineup,
Yeah.
and
And
I,
it,
like
yeah.
I know, and these poor like, again, we don't pay our education people, we don't pay teachers enough, we never have, and I hope we will one day, because the shit they have to put up with because people won't parent their own kids, ooh,
Yeah.
makes
And
me
it's
mad.
not even parenting their own kids. It's just like I just think about every day the stuff that I just hear during lineup from these kids. I'm like, oh my God. And she's hearing this crap all day long. Can you imagine how many I have to go potty? I need to put on my
Ugh,
boots. I need to take my boots off. Where's my glove? Do you have
mm,
my crayon? Somebody hit me. I mean, it's unbelievable. I couldn't do
no,
it. I
no.
could not. And what about the people who homeschool? I don't understand how they do that. You're
Uh,
in your house all day with your kids, and
no, I think there's a thing with homeschooling though. Like I think there's
mm,
like there's a lot of people that do it here, and I feel like there's a way to do it where you're not stuck in the like I feel like there's a lot of field trips.
maybe, but I also feel like I'm not. I don't know how you'd be qualified to do it. I don't know the new way they're adding now. I heard they're doing cursive different. I'm just
No.
like, I'm dealing with a first grader right now, and I'm completely stumped every single day. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, I have a question for you. And again, if you're a teacher out there, thank you. I just want to stop and pause for a second. Thank you for basically volunteering because that's what it is at the end of the day because you don't get paid enough. Thank you for doing that and helping us raise these children and doing your best because there are not a lot of people, Hank and I included, that would ever choose to do that job. It's
Mm-mm.
too hard. I don't have the patience for it. I don't like kids enough. I mean, there's no chance. So here's my question for you, which I find this a very interesting question. If you had to teach,
Uh-huh.
what would you teach? One, what grade would you teach? Two,
I
not you
would.
can't do college.
Did you
I don't know what the
did you just
yeah
see balloons fly?
yeah, I don't. There's this app's weird.
I was
Happy
like,
birthday!
"Is it my birthday? Did I win something?"
Finally, the 50-50.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I worry that I'm gonna win the 50-50 and it's gonna send me into cardiac arrest, and then I'll be so pissed.
Well, you
Uh,
better. Well, just make sure your will says what it should say.
I'll have a life plan. I
Uh,
would go for the younger kids, younger to the point where they're not gonna make a mistake in their pants, and a younger enough in the sense that they're not like attracted to one another yet. So like
okay,
third grade,
third grade.
probably
Okay,
like English or reading, nothing that involves math, science.
I don't think in third grade they break up the classes like that. So I think you'd be teaching all of it.
Yeah, it might be like maybe I would be like a special reading tutor.
Okay, a reading tutor.
I
What?
would do like third grade though. Third, fourth, I feel like they're still sweet and they're not like really like into each other yet.
Okay,
Like to
I
me,
I
like
respect that.
seventh, eighth grade to me would be torture because it's like those are rough years for kids. And ugh.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
What would you
Okay,
do?
I would 1000% do physical education.
Oh, damn! I didn't think about that.
Like my mother.
Ugh.
But I would do high school only. Like I
Yeah,
am no. I'm not into the kids picking their boogers and eating it. I'm not into them messing themselves. I'm not into them putting their hands on one another without thinking there is a consequence for that. You know what? I need them to be somewhat of adults for me to have a
yeah,
conversation with them and, understand that there's like real consequences. You can get suspended, you can get expelled. That goes on your record. That like real consequences so they don't fuck up all the time. You know what I mean?
think about gym teacher. I could totally do that. When you were like in elementary school, did you have the thing like they called it the President's Physical Fitness Award Challenge or whatever?
Obviously.
Did
I
you
could
have the
never
thing where you had to climb up the rope and then do the thing with the erasers and whatever?
erasers.
Like you
What
had to
fucking
run and grab no.
yeah,
Yeah,
what no. President's physical education shit is Michigan doing? What are you talking about? No, we had to do pull-ups, sit-ups, the mile run. We had to do the stretch thing where you had to go over the Did you have to do that?
I don't remember.
You had to put one leg like against this wall thing or machine, and then you gotta reach as far as you can and stretch out.
Oh, yeah.
No, you didn't have to
No,
do
I don't
that.
remember that specifically. I do remember being a fighting bitch though, and it was like, I'm gonna win this shit. Like I'm gonna take out Mark Comtois. That was his name. Horrible name, but
Take out.
he was really athletic. He was really athletic. And then in high school, there was this guy Chad Kingsbury, and I was just like after his shit, like all that.
Did you win?
Yeah, but you know how I didn't win in the real game of life? I saw, you know how like you like look up your friends on the social medias and or some an image comes across you. The guy
Uh-huh.
is like a legit bodybuilder now.
Oh,
Like one of those like that puts on like the oil and the spray tan and the whole thing.
I
And
s-
I'm sitting
mm,
here eating Doritos and I'm just like, well, he won. He
no,
won.
no. I think you won in that one
Okay.
because think how miserable he is. That's no fun. I
I feel
know.
like people really get into it though, and
I
then
know.
you lock into a zone and
It sounds fucking horrible, but like cheers to the people who can do it. I'm just not one of them. Like I need my carbs. I need alcohol, especially right now. I need all of it. So I can't be the oil putting on bodybuilding situation. Like I'm out. If you've listened to this podcast, you know that staying hydrated for me is really difficult. I'm not a huge fan of water. Not only that, I've never liked the electrolyte packets that I've tried because they all taste like salt. That's until I found Cure. Cure, guys, one taste amazing. And I'm not kidding. I'm very picky with this kind of stuff, but I'm loving their lemonade flavor and also their berry pomegranate. They have a ton of other flavors too. So if those aren't your cup of tea, then you can look at their other flavors. It's the cleanest way to hydrate. There's zero added sugar. There's only 25 calories per serving. They're doctor approved. And it's become a daily habit for me. I wake up, I throw them in water, and I feel good about it, you know? Science shows that staying hydrated often requires more than just water alone. And they said that 75% of Americans are dehydrated and don't drink enough water and electrolytes. Also, I think my skin has looked better than ever, and I really think it is because of I'm actually hydrated from this. Hydration goes beyond just drinking water. It's about replenishing the electrolytes we lose through sweat, sleep, alcohol, and daily activities. Water alone isn't enough to do the job. That's why you need to try Cure, the electrolyte drink mix that tastes as amazing as it makes you feel. For the morning after listeners, Cure is offering 20% off your first order. Stay hydrated and feel your best by visiting curehydration.com/Kelly and using promo code Kelly at checkout. That's curehydration.com/Kelly and use code Kelly for 20% off your first order.
how
You
are
know what I
you
mean?
so ripped though? You are so ripped. Like
How,
when you posted those photos from Cabo, I can't tell you how many lovely young women slid into my DMs and they're like, "Can you tell me like was she taking a special pill? Does she doing a certain
no,
exercise?" You are ripped. You know you're ripped. You work out a lot.
I do work out a lot, and I'm not gonna minimize myself by saying like I mean I work out. I work hard at it.
Yeah.
I also have very good genetics. My grandmother, who is, in her 90s, has a six pack. So there's that. But I do work hard at it. So both. But bodybuilding's not my thing. All right. So it's a lot is that I just can't handle, I don't know how teachers do it. Again, shout out to you teachers. Holy shit. I spent 10 minutes trying to read a book and almost lost my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay. What's your
That's
it's a lot?
mine is and I think almost any parent gets it, understands it, feels it. Have you ever been to one of those trampoline parks?
I love a fucking trampoline park.
You do?
Of course I do.
And do you bounce on the trampoline?
I buy a ticket and I got my socks.
I
Damn right
did
I
the
do.
whole I bought my socks, I got my ticket, and let me tell you what. I almost had a complete panic attack when I got to the top of the slide and realized I had to go down it. I was not well. I screamed like a 12-year-old girl all the way down it. And I think Emma was embarrassed. I literally
Oh
think she was
no.
like, deuces. Like,
Wait,
she was out.
no. Now,
Yeah.
Were you there for a birthday party? What was this
No,
for? You just went to
I
go.
was there because it was a cold day here. It was
Okay.
on the weekend. We had nothing planned. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I've got to do something with this kid. And I go, do you want to go to Sky Zone? And her face lit up like
Oh.
Christmas. And she's into all the things. I mean, she's rough and tumble and do all the things and no fear. And I realized I'm crapping my pants just trying to go down a slide. It terrifies me. Terrifies me.
Were you landing in a foam pit? What kind of slide is this?
There were two. One that slid like the went kakuji, and then you land on this rubber thing,
I'm
and then
sorry. Do that again.
it
What
went
is it
like this. It
like?
went kakuji, and you flew up like that, and then you landed on this thing, and then the other one
Yes.
was this gray thing that went jigga 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 jigga, and you went, and then the third one was just one that like went zoomy boop
So
like that.
there was three.
There were three, and I could
And
only do two of them. Actually, I
okay.
only did one. I couldn't even do the one that could jigga jigga jigga
Which one
because it
did
was
you do? The
the one that went kahuji at the end.
Kahuji.
Yeah, like you
The
hit like a
third
rubber
one.
floor at the end of it. Yeah. And then I realized like I looked ridiculous and like there were like two people I could tell they knew who I was and they literally just looked at me and they were like this.
Wait, you said you hit a rubber floor at the end? Are you on
Yeah,
a mat or something?
yeah, some mat. It goes like kahoosh. I'll send you a video of it. And then of course they had the foam pits and the other things. And I'm like, I can't get in that foam pit. I will never get out of that foam. I'll have to
No,
have
it's hard.
that thing like
The
the thing
claw.
coming drop you.
They honestly should really look into that because if any adult has ever been into a foam pit, not only is it hard for kids to get out of, but an adult, you weigh more, you go lower. And then when you're trying to step on these foams, you still sink because you have weight. Like these kids like lay on top of it and can move. But I just feel like when we go, I can't get in a foam pit. One, I can't handle the germs. Like if
Yeah.
you think about a foam pit
Oh,
and
like how do
what
they
is
clean the foam? They don't
they
clean.
don't. They don't. So I avoid a foam pit at all times. Now, a trampoline I'm all over. I
Yeah,
love a trampoline. I flip
you do.
around. I enjoy
I
it.
went to one of these places with you. I don't know if you remember when the kids
Mm,
were little, somewhere around here. I don't remember where.
it's a good
You
time.
on a trampoline, you look like a goddamn Olympian. I look like I'm taking pills for like an arthritic commercial. Like it is really embarrassing. And like a lot of these parents are a lot younger than me. And I'm like, look at that dad just did a flip. And I'm like,
Oh, well, I'll
chucking
tell
it
you
to
one thing.
double bounce.
You might not look as good on a trampoline, but I will say I'm usually pissing myself at every bounce. It's like
Yeah. Okay.
a
So
little tinkle, a little tinkle, a little tinkle. And then finally, when it's wet down there, I just get off. I'm like, well, I've used up my jumps. I'm out. So, anyways, I don't last very long, but I do love it.
she
Um,
loved it. That's all that matters. It was fun.
yes.
Everybody was really nice. She had a great time. But I walked out of there and I'm like, oh my God.
Also, speaking of why the hell didn't we franchise some? Those are they just print money. There's no overhead.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say just for the two of us with the socks and the day pass, and then we took a photo that was really cute, and then you bought a Slurpee or
Hmm.
whatever. I mean, it's close to like $80, $90.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money for 2 hours.
for a Slurpee.
Yeah,
That was their, I guess, the socks. That was their overhead.
the socks. Yeah, the socks are like $8, and then the picture was $16 because I hit the button wrong, and I'm just like, oh my
I
God.
mean, also, how smart are they to require the socks? Come on. The
Like you need
socks
the
aren't, yeah,
socks.
the socks aren't fucking needed, but
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, I mean,
Smart.
and I will tell you, my daughter, like when I told her Sky Zone, she'd been there with a friend. She's like, just a minute. She runs back and she comes back and she's like, I have Sky Zone socks. I'm like, you do?
Smart.
So
She just
she
saved you
did.
money.
Yeah.
She just saved you money. Guys, I keep telling you about Skims, and I'm going to keep telling you about it because everything they make is so dang comfortable. Actually, I bought Matthew some Skims stuff for Christmas, and he's loving it. Not only that, but I tend to be very picky with underwear. Obviously, it's in our area that we are sensitive, and I just don't, I want to make sure nothing's too tight. And This is why I love Skims. The Fits Everybody Cheeky Brief and the Fits Everybody Boy Short, I mean, you can barely feel that they're on. And when I go to sleep at night, I usually wear a big t-shirt and one of these because not only do I kind of feel sexy in it, but I also can't feel that they're on. I've talked about their bras before. You always need the support of a bra, even if your boobs aren't real, because gravity is going to take effect no matter what. And I want it to be comfortable. I don't want to feel like, I have a wire that's holding up my boobs. And this is, again, why I love Skims. Seriously, check it out. I can't emphasize it enough. They're incredible. Shop Skims Best Intimate, including the Fits Everybody collection and more at skims.com and Skims stores. After you place your order, be sure to let them know that we sent you. Select podcast in the survey, and be sure to select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. All right, we're gonna stay on the kids for a second because Matthew and I were like having this discussion probably a couple weeks ago before shit hit the fan in our lives, and it was about our daughters. And we are trying really, really hard to, encourage them to use their manners. And when I say encourage, demand. This isn't a option in our house. You will say yes, and it might be old school for some, and it might be weird for some, but we both were raised in the South, where even to this day, if I looked at my grandmother and said, yeah, she would just do one of these.
With her six pack.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm.
And terrifying. And like and the teeth are like this. And I also just think like it is a it is a sign of respect when you use your manners with an adult. And I want my girls to understand that if you're asking for something, whether you are 4 or you are 24 and you're using manners, you're more likely to get what you want.
You lean really heavily into yes, ma'am, and no, sir, and that.
Please,
the ma'am and the sir.
Please, thank you. Excuse me if they're trying to butt into a conversation. I don't like the word what. So I will say one of my daughters is very good at this. If she doesn't hear what I say, she'll say, ma'am, for me to repeat it. The other ones are horrible at it, but she's really good at that. But we were talking about it because I was like, I don't understand. Like we have been on their asses since they were young about like, this should just be automatic. Like they shouldn't even, yeah and yes and no shouldn't even be a part of their vocabulary. Yes, ma'am. And yet like that is the word. But they still struggle and they don't say thank you when they should, things like that. And I'm talking to I just don't get it. Like I feel like I have really tried to work hard at this and they fucking suck at their manners. And Matthew is like, well, I think one thing, and he's right. The saying thank you and please, not only to us, but other adults or Chef Chris, or Uncle Chris to them. I think they're so used to having things handed to them and done for them that it's now just expected. And so there's no like thank you in the back of their head because they're just expecting that.
Yeah.
Like when, we wake up and I'm putting the dirty laundry in the dirty hamper. I'm like, all right, well, you guys left your clothes. Let me do this for you. But it's just like, or making their beds. They don't have to do any of that. And like when I was young, washing the dishes, loading the dishwasher, unloading the dishwasher. And part of that's on me because it takes them too long.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, listen, we don't have fucking time. Just let me do it. But we're having issues because I think now they're so used to being catered to so often that they lose sight of even thinking to say please and or to say thank you more so than anything else. And we've really noticed it with us, but also with people around this house. Like I said, Uncle Chris, I've noticed it with Tatiana some when she's around. It's really starting to make me mad, and I'm trying to be patient with it. But I just and even when Matthew's like, we just need to give them stuff to do, I'm already like, ugh, because I know they're not going to do it right.
Do they have chores? Any sort of chores?
So their chores basically revolve around them. So their chores, like when they get home from school, they have to unpack their whole book bag, lunchbox included, clean it out, put it in the dishwasher, repack their snack for the next day, refill their waters, and put them in the fridge. But that's it.
That's a good one though. I don't do that one, and I'm gonna lean into that one next week. I like
Yeah,
that.
well, it takes something off your plate. I mean, I could like it takes me 20 minutes to go through every single one of their book bags,
Yeah,
get everything out. So I'm like, no, y'all are doing this. And
yeah,
like shoes have to be put away. Like you can't just leave your shit everywhere.
yeah,
But the big chores, which they just think magically happen, the laundry, the dishes, the making the beds, they don't do any of that. Does Emma do
yeah.
any of that?
She does. She does a couple things because she has a chore list through Girl Scouts. So her chores are
I'm
feeding
so
the dog.
glad.
She has
I'm
to, yeah. Thank God for the cookies and the chores.
yeah.
Uh, Kind of
She has
craving
to
it.
do what? She has to feed I
She
guess
has
my
to.
kids feed the dog,
She
but
has to feed the dog. She has to feed the fish. She has to make her bed. And the making the bed, it's not perfect, but she just puts the blanket over it and
mhm.
makes it look okay. So that's really just the main stuff. But I like the book bag thing. My only worry about the book bag stuff is, you probably have a folder like I do, but half of it's hers, the other half is stuff for the teacher, and I'm worried she's
Mhm.
just going to throw that away. You know what I mean? Like the teacher will send a note, or there will be a
Yes.
homework, a thing for the parents, and I'm like, well, she throw the wrong thing away. You
Well,
know?
maybe she puts the folder, her lunch, like everything on the counter, and then you go through it, like her folder while she puts her lunchbox away or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it gives the kids a sense of responsibility, and I need to be better about making sure that they do the bigger things because I do think they're just starting. And it's not necessarily their fault. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna say it's their fault. It's part ours too. But I mean, I ran into some kids at Yellowstone who are their age and they had the best fucking manners. And I'm going, I've worked so hard and here are my kids. I'm like, hey, did you have a good time? Yeah. What?
Well, those kids you saw at Yellowstone may have just been having a really good day. I mean, because the reality is your kids are very well behaved, but they're going to cycle in and out of stuff because they're around other kids who are saying yeah and what and huh. And so it's
And
hard. It's just all about reinforcement. I had trouble with the sir and ma'am thing, and I really tried to lean into it because that's how I was raised by my dad. But it's hard when you're not around kids who are also saying ma'am and sir. But
yeah.
Emma's really good about thank you and please and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
um,
What
I
about
just
have you run into the dude or bro?
she calls me brah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And
Okay.
she also thinks it's really funny when other people are around and she'll be like, my butler will get it. She's like, "Oh, do you want something? My butler will get it for you." And then she'll look at me like that. And I'm like, "Woman? Yeah, my
I love
but
how she calls you butler and you come back with woman.
woman?" Yeah, she calls me her butler. And
Wait,
you know
that is
what?
so good.
I am.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go into so many things I'm employed doing when I'm not that at all. But
Yeah.
here we are. But that's kids for you, and I'm hoping they'll get better. I don't know how much. I mean, I will sit at the dinner table, Hank, and they will be talking, and Matthew will ask them a question where they need a sir or whatever, and he'll go on for 5 minutes where none of them will use their manners, and I'll just be sitting there like this. Woo-saw breathing. Because I'm going, how have I wasted
No.
like 5
Mm-mm.
years of my life trying to teach all the manners and you're horrible at it.
No. You're reinforcing it. You're doing it every day. There's going to be good days and bad days. Do not beat yourself up over it. You are a phenomenal parent.
Oh
Those
my
are
God.
phenomenal kids. And it all works itself out. It'll all work itself out.
It will. In fact, well, I will tell you, phenomenal parent right here. Also, they're knocking on the door. Come in. Let's be honest with each other. We all have gaps in our diets and we try to fill them with vitamins and supplements. And to be honest, we should be doing the same for our kids. I feel like we do a lot of research, or at least I do for myself, as to what's the best thing to take. And for the longest time, I wasn't really doing that for my kids until Haya vitamins came into my life, which has been incredible because they're not filled with crap. They're not candy in disguise. They are formulated with the help of nutritional experts, pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and vegetables, supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals. It helps with the mood, concentration, brain function, energy, immunity, teeth, bones, and more. Guys, and the best thing, I don't have to beg my kids to eat these. They're very easy, once a day. They love them. They ask for them every morning. I'm not even kidding. It's so easy. We've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. You can receive 50% off your first order. To claim the deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/morning. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to HIYAHEALTH.com/morning and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Nope. Out. You've had snacks. Goodbye. Out. Now.
Out, ma'am.
Ma'am. Get your butt out of here. No. That was Hunty.
I don't know how you do it.
She needs snacks, though.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it with all those people. And then you threw a dog in the mix. I mean, I just don't know.
I don't even do it anymore. I just sit there and do this while Matthew talks. So I'm like, I've failed over and over again. No, but I will say they were calling each other dude and bro. And I finally looked at them all and I said, you know what that makes you sound like? And they said, what? I go, dumb. It makes you sound dumb when you talk like that. I'm just letting you know that when you use dude and bro, it makes you sound dumb. So you can do it if you want, but it's up to you. I just hated it. I hated it. Ugh.
You're doing good.
Yeah, totally. All right. What are some Hank's headlines?
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing right now that's going to make you very happy. And I'm going to hop in here to these headlines. There's this new show that just debuted on NBC called Grosse Pointe Garden Society. And it's like Desperate Housewives, but it's based in Grosse Pointe. A Metro Detroit suburb, a bougie suburb. They actually shoot it in suburban Atlanta because of all those tax credits down there, you know?
I
can't remember a suburb with a D. That's
Duluth?
like no, it's like it was like two
Decatur.
words.
Doraville.
Well, I remember Dorville from the month. Don't tell me about Dorville.
Yeah, you do.
But anyways, they had this thing set up where they wanted me and my friend Karen Drew, who I work with, to watch the show and then react to it. And we were like, okay, whatever. We did it. And then they were editing the whole thing, blah, 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 blah. And then Karen came over last night. She was talking to me about it. She's like, I have to tell you something. And I'm like, what? She's like, we were in the edit booth and they were like, two things. Hank kept telling Karen to shut up, which I do. Like if I love my friend like you or Karen, I'm like, shut up. You're talking too much. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. They said you said shut up so many times that they kept removing the edit because they thought people were going to think you were mean. And number two, one of the editors was like, I don't really know how to bring this up to him, but like we had trouble editing around. Like he had some like nose hair. And Hank. I almost collapsed. I was like, now I got to wax my nostrils again. So now I have to fly to LA to get my nostrils waxed.
Wait, this is really weird. I waxed mine this morning. What timing? That's incredible.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, my nostrils. You gotta do it again.
I mean, they grow back. Wait, that is so good though. I'm so bad. You need to figure that out. If they can see it on camera, Hank, I can't. Oh, yeah, I can see
I can right now. Oh, God.
It's okay. It's okay. It happens. I like something that's fast and convenient without compromising what I need. And I'm talking about meal service delivery. Right now, we think of fast food being like, ooh, not so good. And we all have goals in 2025. And I feel like a lot of our goals are just to be healthier. And this is why I love Tempo. There's no compromises and you're getting meals made with real ingredients. It is a weekly delivery service that delivers chef-crafted meals from a dietitian-approved menu fresh to your door. They have 20 plus mindful choices on their weekly menu, and get this, all the meals cook in just 3 minutes. So it serves up fast, feel good, single serving meals that are crafted to cook in those 3 minutes so you can eat well without sacrificing taste or convenience. They offer a variety of meals for different dietary and taste preferences, including protein packed, calorie conscious, carb conscious, and fiber rich. For a limited time, Tempo is offering our listeners 60% off your first box. Go to tempomeals.com/Kelly. That's tempomeals.com/Kelly for 60% off your first box. Tempomeals.com/Kelly. Rules and restrictions may apply.
So listen, we got to talk about a few things going on because it's giving me anxiety. I'm flying Friday. Um, I
Ooh.
uh, I have anxiety about that
Okay.
because of all the plane things that are going on. Have you heard about this couple that was flying internationally and the woman in their row died?
I did. I read the headline,
And
as
she
I
had
know
to
we shouldn't
stay
do.
like in the seat because they couldn't move her body and they had to sit next to her and she was dead.
Could they not move the I'm sorry. Can they not move the body because it was like a because it
A
like an
crime scene?
like yeah, was it a crime
No,
scene?
I think she died of natural causes. I don't understand all the particulars of it, but I do know that I would be able to figure out a way for her to move to a different part of the
But
aircraft.
think about this. Okay, so I agree with you, but then I just thought about them carrying a body through the aisle. I think you're going to be disturbing a lot of people instead of just the two that are sitting next to her.
What if that was you sitting next to
No,
her?
I agree. Listen, I would hate it and it's horrible. I don't know, but I think they probably the lesser of two evils was to do that. Now, here's my question though. It is the lesser of two evils. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to carry a dead body through the aisle, Hank, and everybody sees as there's limbs like hanging. It's horrible. No,
See,
it's not funny. Someone
because
died and
I'm
we do.
just thinking, like, did they weekend at Bernie's her and put like sunglasses on her and have her sit there like she
No,
like
this is
put a glass
horrible.
of Chardonnay in her
This is
hand?
horrible. If somebody died, we should not be doing this. But I will like they had to put blankets over her, right? What? Why are you laughing? They have blankets on the plane. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm just imagining walking to the bathroom because I like to walk the aisles sometimes, especially if I'm nervous, and passing this person who's just covered in a blanket.
Well, okay. I don't know. I don't know what the answer should be, but
And
you
like, what
can't.
do you get for that? Do you get just like extra Delta cookies, or do you get like what do you get if you have to sit next to that person for 12 hours? You at
I
least get
what
like
did
something.
what did they say? Because I only read the headline. What did the couple say? I thought they were sitting. I thought the person was sitting in front of them.
Maybe. I just saw the picture and I'm not well from it. And I
Oh,
think
so
it's
you didn't read the article either?
I read bits and pieces.
Ah,
But
jeez.
I was nervous
Okay.
about it. Just like the whole flying thing. And I just flew home from Mexico. And does this happen to you and you like lose your mind? You get on the plane and you're about to take off and the flight attendants get on and they go, just so you know, there'll be no service for the first 45 minutes because we're going to experience severe turbulence. In my mind, we're crashing.
Yeah.
So I set the timer on my phone and I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, 43 minutes. We've got 2 left. I'm looking at the flight attendant sitting in front of me. I'm like, honey, I don't know how you do this every day. Like
No.
now I've got 90 seconds. Okay, are we going down to 90 seconds? And I mean, it just drove me insane. I can't do it.
Now here's a question. Would you rather be told there is going to be severe turbulence for 2 hours or just like don't tell me, let's ride through it and act like everything's normal?
I think I want to not know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I want to know, but like I know a
Why?
lot of
Why do
people
you want to know? What's there to prepare for?
there's nothing to prepare for, but the fact that I know there's going to be turbulence, if we experience turbulence, I know it's not random where we're like we got struck by lightning and now we're having problems. Like, oh,
Okay.
this was expected.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get what I mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, did you see the near miss at Chicago?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
going on?
I'm flying
The
Friday.
the FFA's got to get this shit together, you know?
I mean, I used to think that everybody should be required to wear a parachute, but now with these particular like near miss, like there's no time for it. Um, but that video of that plane coming, it's a Southwest plane coming down in, and no, It's terrifying.
Could you
The only
imagine if you're on that flight and you land and then all of a sudden you take off again? You're like, okay.
I've had an aborted landing before.
Yeah.
You've never had one
Okay.
of those?
No, have not. Something that is sold every 24 seconds that's got your mind turning, isn't it? And honestly, it's Hormone Harmony. The results are so impressive, guys. There's over 40,000 reviews on their website. Women cannot stop talking about it on social media. What is Hormone Harmony? Well, it's an herbal formula that kind of fine tunes our hormonal system like a musician tunes a guitar. Our hormones, when they get thrown out of whack, guys, our whole lives feel like they get thrown out of whack. We feel moody. We feel hot flashes. We have the night sweats. We have the racing thoughts. We have occasional bloating, poor sleep, lack of energy. These are all things that Hormone Harmony help with. It is from Happy Mammoth, and they only use science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. So, for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code Kelly at checkout. Again, that is 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com, and just use that code Kelly at checkout. This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Luigi Maglione, or whatever his name is, the guy who is accused of killing the healthcare CEO, he
Yeah.
had to be in court this week. And I mean, he's put together fairly well, but he was wearing these Italian loafers that are now the hottest thing to buy. People can't keep them on in stock. His shoes were everywhere, and I'm like, why are we idolizing this person who's accused of murder? And where is he getting the loafers?
Our society is so sick. We're so fucked up as a society. Are we kidding? These
No,
loafers are sold out? What
his,
loafers are these?
they're like I will say they are nice looking loafers, but he's also
Also,
got.
they're fucking loafers. Like,
But
what are we
he's
talking
also got
about?
like handcuffs around his ankles, so it's like kind of diminishes the look. But I'm just like, my goodness.
No, I'm done with us fantasizing on murderers.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
I
sorry.
don't get that. No,
Uh,
I don't get it.
he murdered a guy in cold
Allegedly,
blood. I'm sorry, allegedly. I
Yes.
apologize. Allegedly.
Yeah.
He murdered someone in cold blood. And that guy was a husband and a father. And
Yeah.
so I cannot believe how sick we are.
People are
Ugh.
crazy.
Okay, we also got, do you want to tee up this cancel culture?
All right, so we want to talk a little bit about cancel culture, and it started with something that was posted, and then we'll hop into it. This was a comment. Love today's TMA episode. Thought-provoking question. At what point would you cancel a celebrity or a politician, like someone that you don't know personally? And cancel meaning don't support. I'm curious
Got it.
because I truly believe everyone believes in different things, and that's what makes us all so special. But what's the line that can't be crossed?
Okay, so this is somebody you don't know.
Correct. This would be like a celebrity or a politician or like a public figure.
Okay. I think
There's so much about cancel culture. What is the one thing that you'd say, no going back?
I think this question would be a lot harder if it was someone you knew personally and like loved or cared for, if
Yeah.
they kind of showed some colors that you were not a fan of. But for celebrities and politicians wise, I would say like canceling, I think for me is kind of tough because regardless of what people might say or do, I don't think it's up to us in the end to judge them. I am a Christian. And so that's kind of tough for me to come behind and just say, yeah, I would cancel them because of this. Now, celebrities, I don't really care. I don't care enough about their beliefs unless I know them. And I'm not gonna, to be honest, if they're good, if they're a celebrity because they are an actor or an actress, and I think they're good at acting, and I'm gonna watch their movies still, even if they don't have beliefs that I agree with or whatever. Now, politicians, I think, are different, um, solely because they can change the way we live based on what they believe. So, but I don't see many like politicians getting canceled. You cannot vote for a politician. Um, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know. There's not much you can do besides using your voting rights when it comes to canceling uh people, I don't
Yeah.
think. I
Yeah.
think we've kind of moved away from that culture, which I love. Cuz I'm not big on cancel culture.
I'm big on it, I think, in certain instances. Like, to me, when somebody is personally working to be hateful and divisive, like Kanye West has been,
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Okay, yeah.
believe that that person deserves a spot at the table.
Yeah.
And after his, comments that he made after the Grammys, I understand that he's incredibly talented and he's a Grammy winning artist, but I don't think he should be allowed back at the Grammys.
No. No.
So
I agree with you there.
I think when you get extreme like that, and for me, that's like one of the biggest things. It's almost higher than homophobia, even being a gay guy. Like, I can't fathom racism,
Mhm.
and judgment against people for just who they are, and for that matter, sexism. Women are still, I believe, and I work in a very out there industry where you're
Mhm.
judged on your appearance. Boy, do women have it tough. They have it tough,
Yeah.
and I just don't. I don't agree
Yeah.
with it. I don't agree
I
with
guess
it at all.
when I think of like getting canceled stuff, I think of all the petty shit that we used to cancel people for.
Yeah,
There's obviously real shit that matters and that you just don't stand for.
yeah,
Like, again, like you were saying, the Kanye West stuff. I mean, there is a certain line that you should never cross, no
yeah,
matter what.
yeah,
And when you cross that line, you should expect what you're probably going to get from it.
yeah,
So, I mean, I'm with you there. I just think now, if it's someone you know and love, this is where I think it gets hard. Because to be honest, like, I don't care enough about celebrities, or I mean, I care about politicians, but I don't know. That's not where my
yeah,
heart lies.
yeah,
And it's the people I know and love, and I think there that's when it gets really hard
yeah,
because say you think you know someone really well and all of a sudden they show a color that you might not like, how do you deal with it?
yeah,
Um, and I think that's like discussion because sometimes people say shit that they don't really realize what they're saying, or they haven't been, you know, talked about with in a way. They're stuck in a certain past. And I really think sitting down and having that conversation, we did a lot of this during COVID. I think if people can open their ears a little bit and shut their mouth, which I know everyone's saying to me right now, but about this kind of stuff, I think it'll open people's minds.
yeah,
So that's where I think canceling, like, it's so hard because when you love someone, like, you want to expect the best out of them, but a lot of times sometimes they're gonna disappoint you.
yeah.
And
It can be really hard, and I think everybody just, given the times that we're living in, just have a little grace with people. Like,
oh
have
god.
a moment to be like, okay, listen, we might have a different opinion, but let's take a step back.
Yeah, let's
Let's like,
talk about it. And maybe you'll open my mind up. Maybe I'll open your mind up. Maybe at the
yeah,
end of the day we're really saying the same thing.
yeah,
Like, and I do think that happens a lot, and we're so stubborn and so quick to judge people. We've talked about this multiple times.
yeah,
No one can make mistakes anymore, which I can't stand. I can't stand that because we're teaching our kids that they can't make mistakes. They're terrified to mess up. Um, and that's just setting them up for failure in the future because everyone fucking makes mistakes. It's
yeah,
part of life.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, anyways.
Listen, let's just get through the next couple months. Let's live well, fly safe. all the
Oh,
all the important things.
let's
Oh,
clap
I'm
when the
bringing
fights
back
are
clapping.
over.
I'm bringing back clapping when planes land.
Turns out you're not the only one,
Yeah,
Hank.
yeah.
I think the TMA page posted something about that.
Okay.
If I'm
Yeah,
not, yeah.
yeah. I
Okay.
did.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. All right, guys. Until next week, be safe. If you're flying, be very, very, very safe. And yeah, cheers to everyone. Have a splash.
Cheers. Make a splash.